Hi everyone, and welcome to the second part of Chapter 1. In this part, we will explore the basic syntax of CircuitPython. Indentation refers to the spaces at the beginning of a code line. You have the freedom to decide the number of spaces to use. While the most popular choice is 4 spaces, it's essential to use at least one to ensure readability. A variable is created when you assign a value to it. In this case, the name, number, and x are defined as variables. Understanding data types is essential in programming. Variables can store data of various types, each with its distinct functionalities. Here are a few popular data types that are set when you assign a value to the variable. String, textual data enclosed in quotes. Integer, whole numbers without decimals. Float, numbers with decimals or fractions. Boolean, true or false values. List, ordered collections of items. Range, sequence of numbers. Dictionary, key value pairs for organizing data. One way to assign specific data type to a variable is through casting. Use comments to provide documentation within your code. Begin your comment with a hashtag, and Python will interpret the remainder of the line as a comment. You can also comment on multiple lines by using triple quotes. Note that writing comments within your script does not affect the functionality of your code. Operators play an important role when executing operations on variables and values. In this section, we will explore 3 main types of operators: arithmetic, assignment, and comparison. Arithmetic operators are used to perform mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Assignment operators are shortcuts for updating variables. For example, instead of writing x equals 11, you can use x plus equal 3 to add 3 to x directly. It's a quick way to change variable values. Comparison operators compare values and give a true or false result. Examples include equality, inequality, greater than, less than, greater or equal to, and less than or equal to. Try to flip the x and y value and you will receive a different set of output. Now that you have learned about operators, it's time to put them into action. Conditions are used in various ways, with the most common being if statement and loops. In the following examples, we use 2 variables x and y to check whether x is greater than y. In the first example, if x is greater than y, the code will print x is greater than y in the shell. The second example uses if-else to check the first 2 conditions. As a result, it prints y is greater than x, since both conditions were not met. A for loop is a control flow statement that allows you to execute a block of code repeatedly for a fixed number of times. It's commonly used to iterate over sequences such as lists, dictionaries, and strings. In the second example, the range function returns a sequence of numbers starting from 0 by default and increments by 1 until it reaches a total number count of 3, starting from 0, 1, and 2. A while loop is a control flow statement that allows a block of code to execute repeatedly as long as condition is true. The following code uses a while loop to continuously check if x is less than 4. If a condition is true, the code block inside the loop executes and prints the value of x starting from 1 and increments it by 1. This process repeats until x is no longer less than 4. A function is a block of code which only runs when it's called. It's normally used to break down a program into smaller, more manageable pieces, making it easier to read and understand. Furthermore, you can pass data into the function for processing and return data from the function as a result. The second example has a multiplication function with multiplication x. When the function is called, the values 2 and 5 are used inside the function to be multiplied by 3 and return the result of 6 and 15. When writing your code, it's important to maintain data readability when printing on the shell console or the OLED display. In this section, we will introduce you to the format method, which makes the printing process simpler. To control the values, simply add placeholders by typing curly brackets in the text, which will allow us to format and print specific parts of a string to your liking. Here are 3 examples of how this works. To print more values, you can simply add more placeholder with the format method. You can also use index numbers to guarantee that values accurately placed in the designated placeholders as shown here. Alright, great job completing chapter 1. You are now prepared for the exciting journey ahead. Stay tuned for more in the upcoming videos.